A long time ago, in the village of Ogwalu, there lived a man named Baba Oumar. He was the most skilled tailor in the entire region. People traveled from far and wide to have him sew their garments. Chiefs adorned themselves in his robes, brides gleamed in his wedding fabrics, and even the common folk took pride in wearing something stitched by his hands. His small shop stood under a great baobab tree, its wooden beams polished by the hands of many generations. There, Baba Oumar sat from morning till night, working the thread between his fingers like a master weaver of fate. Baba Oumar had a daughter, Nia. She was his only child, born after many years of waiting. She was a bright, observant girl, always watching her father's hands as they guided the needle through fabric. Whenever he wasn't looking, she would gather scraps and try to sew little dolls from the discarded pieces. But Baba Oumar had no patience for this. Nia, he would say, his voice firm but not unkind. Tailoring is not for girls. Go and help your mother with the cooking. Nia would lower her head and obey, but her heart ached. The stitches of her soul were sewn with the same love for cloth as her father's. Yet he refused to let her learn. She heard the elders say that a daughter must learn her mother's trade, and tailoring was a craft for men. So she kept her dreams hidden, like a beautiful fabric folded away in a dusty chest. The years passed, and Baba Oumar continued his work, his name growing even beyond their village. But time is like a tailor's needle. It never stops moving. His fingers, once so steady, began to tremble. His eyesight, once sharp enough to thread the thinnest needle, grew weaker. Orders piled up, but his hands could no longer keep up. People still came, but instead of receiving fine garments, they left with delays and excuses. One day, the chief's eldest son was to be married. The chief himself came to Baba Oumar's shop with fine rolls of cloth. I want you to make my son's wedding robe, he said. It must be the finest you have ever sewn. Baba Oumar swallowed hard. He knew his hands would fail him, but he could not refuse the chief. He nodded and accepted the cloth, though his heart was heavy. That night, as he struggled to sew, Nia stepped into his shop. Papa, she said softly, let me help you. Baba Oumar looked at her, the weight of years pressing down on him. He saw the quiet determination in her eyes, the same love for fabric that had once burned in his own heart. He hesitated, but then, with a tired sigh, he handed her a needle. Show me what you can do, he said. Nia's fingers worked swiftly, the way she had always imagined. She stitched with precision, her hands guided by years of watching her father. Baba Oumar's tired eyes widened as he saw the garment taking shape, each thread woven with skill beyond her years. When the robe was finished, it was even finer than anything Baba Oumar had ever made. On the day of the wedding, the chief inspected the robe. He ran his fingers over the stitches, nodding in approval. You have outdone yourself, Baba Oumar, he said. Your gift remains as strong as ever. Baba Oumar looked at Nia, pride welling in his chest. It was not my hands that made this, he admitted. It was my daughter's, the crowd murmured. A girl, a tailor, but the proof was before them. Skill does not belong to one gender, just as talent does not choose its owner. The chief turned to Nia and smiled. Then, from now on, Nia shall be the tailor of Ogwalu. From that day forward, Nia took her place beneath the great Baobab tree where her father once worked. People still traveled from far and wide, not just for the skill of Baba Oumar, but for the mastery of his daughter. And in his old age, Baba Oumar finally understood a true gift is not something you keep, it is something you pass on. And so the needle continued its journey, stitching a new legacy, thread by thread.